Hi there, namaste, and welcome back to another spiritualistic pick a card reading. Today we're taking a look at your next spiritual progression. So please take a deep breath, drawing your energy up your spine on the inhale, creating a clear and open channel. As you exhale, allow yourself to come into clear knowing which group or groups has your message in it for you today. We have group number 1 on the left with movement and the rose quartz. Group number 2 in the center with inner world and the tiger's eye. And group number 3 on the right with progression and the green Aventurine. As always, the timestamps to your readings are listed below in the description box. And that is also where you'll be able to find information about booking a personal reading or Reiki session, as well as checking out any of my tarot or oracle decks that I've made, books and journals that I've published, and crystal jewelry that I make in order to share the love with you guys just a little bit more. As always, it would mean the world and help me out a bunch if you commented, and subscribed on this video. And if you're interested in more content like this, you can check out my Instagram and my TikTok, also listed below. As always, I'm sending you all my love, light, and gratitude. I'm excited to get into this reading, and I will see you there. Namaste. Hi there, group 1. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at your next spiritual progression. And you selected the first group with movement and the rose quartz. Connecting with this energy here, I am picking up first of all that your next spiritual progression will have a lot to do with you feeling a deeper sense of body awareness, a deeper sense of connectivity with your body, or even just certain parts of your own unique physical functioning and spiritual functioning, learning your own processes. This can also have something to do with your self-care rituals, allowing yourself to love yourself even more deeply. Now, how is this showing up for spiritual progression? Because all of the information that you could ever want or need regarding your mind, your spirit, your emotions, your past, present, future, parallel lifetimes, anything like this, it is not only held within your spirit and within your aura, your astral body, your causal body, but it is also stored within your physical body. Some of you have been having something like a stiff neck, or a little clump of scar tissue somewhere, or a twisted ankle or something, and this might not be like a big deal. This might be something that is intermittent or very small, yet long-lasting. I'm getting that this will be something that you release once and for all from your body by letting yourself, sure, move, but this is an energy flow. This is that moment where the moss finally travels down the river because the current is strong enough. Your next spiritual progression is going to be a strengthening of the energy currents that you send out, and a strengthening of your ability to feel these energy currents as well. So as you become more sensitive, you understand the amounts that you are actually already affecting everything, regardless of where you are currently at. You're going to be experiencing a sensitizing. And from here, we're also noticing that you becoming more sensitive to it draws more awareness to it. Now, these two things are not the same. They're slightly different because the sensitization draws awareness, which draws the ability for you to be able to fine-tune things like perhaps your posture, perhaps your chi flow, perhaps your chakra system, perhaps your bodily functions, because you're able to tap in with them oh so deeply. This might be something like listening to your digestive tract a little bit better. This can be something like not just trying to sit in a stretch really, really deeply. This would be energetically and spiritually akin to doing deep core exercises or deep muscular exercises or mobility exercises, as opposed to just lifting weights. Instead of going from the outside in, you're going from the inside out. And this is going to create a flow of movement through your body, as well as in the way that your energy affects the world outside of you. Along with this, strengthening also comes, as we said, a sensitization process, which is important because it also allows you to become more stimulated by the changes that you are having. One thing never comes without the other, simply because it is always important to understand the effect that you are having on the energies around you. With this, you may notice that sometimes you become hyper aware of your body. Sometimes you might be hyper aware of your energy, of your aura. You may become overstimulated in certain senses sometimes. But group number 1, I'm getting that you already have the techniques and the tools necessary for you in order to deal with this. This will not be something that you haven't at least visited before in your life, but this will be something that perhaps opens you up to something more deeply. For some of you, this is signing up for a Pilates class. And maybe you've taken Pilates before, but now this is a spiritual progression alongside it. Because as you move through these phases of your own movement, as you move through these phases of your own mobility, as you take that Reiki training course and you let yourself be healed by the Reiki energy, you let it flow through you, you become more sensitive to it. This is a lot more than you store this energy in your hips and this energy in your glutes and this energy in your core and this energy in your back. Although these things are true, this is a flow. This is an awareness of the fact that your self-care rituals allow you to become more aware of what is going on within and around you. And this also affects your ability to create an energy flow of these energies as well. Similarly to when you become more sensitive and can feel if your core is properly engaged. If you feel that you are walking with the correct posture, it is not until this becomes drawn to your awareness that you then know to do something about it. And once you're doing something about it, you must then create the strength and the flexibility and the mobility in order to sustain this so that it becomes muscle memory for you. So there seems to be something here, energetically, that is connected with your physiology and your kinesiology. That is a spiritual muscle memory for you, and will be walking you through elements of your past, present, future, mind, body, and emotional body in order for you to progress spiritually. This might have something to do with body scan meditations, making sure you're laying in savasana at the end of your yoga practice. It might just have something to do with you drawing awareness to a different muscle group than you usually do in your exercises. Or it may simply be something about opening up your posture and seeing what is within those small little tweaks that you are making in places that are a little tight, a little sore, a little, like they're showing me hypermobility as an example. Areas where you may be over flexible so that you can be less flexible. Areas that might be moderately restricted because other places are overly open. So this is really a hypersensitized alignment of energies in your life. Now we're going to get into the tarot now, and we're going to see what else is included in this next spiritual progression of yours. So group 1, it seems that this is actually an activation of some of the feminine attributes of your masculine energy. So this will also be something that alongside this does end up increasing your stability and your security within self, with your place within the world, so on and so forth, in any way that might be necessary for you. Your spiritual progression is also going to be one that deepens your self-love journey, and also one that allows you to become more calm and rested in your everyday life. There may be something where you usually have very vivid dreams, prophetic dreams, or maybe you are very busy in the astral when you sleep and you wake up feeling a little bit jolted or a little bit tired. And I'm seeing that this is something that is going to be easing for you. Okay, we have the Hierophant. Look at this masculine energy as well coming out here. Next chapter of spiritual progression for group number 1, please. Okay. There is an awareness that is going to be drawn to the way that you express yourself in the world. There are some areas of you that you have held back because of whatever reason here. This might be some spiritual gifts and abilities of yours. There may be something here about wanting yourself to be seen for who you are instead of what you can do or what you have to offer. Your spiritual progression is going to be one that opens up a perfect, beautiful balance between the time that you spend with yourself, the beautiful comfort that you feel alone, and the time that you spend with others, and the beautiful comfort that you spend with others. Your spiritual progression seems as though it might be an energy that does draw more bodily awareness to you, but you also may be surprised to find that certain parts of your body will actually project you into your astral body. You might also be surprised to find that some of the things in your body that you've been holding might be from past, present, future parallel lifetimes, from other galaxies, from other incarnations, from other dimensions, other star systems, etc. You're going to also be able to tell a lot of the energies that are coming up in your near future as well, pertaining to other people and your foundation. There is a very understated emphasis on the root chakra here, which lets me know that your spiritual progression is going to invite more ease into your life. And with this, it's going to be one that allows you to, I'm hearing, practice quality over quantity more. The energy that you direct will be more precise. And because the energy that you are directing is more precise, it requires less effort from you, but more focus. However, this focus is held first within you and yourself, you and your self-love. So because of this, coming from a place of true, earnest integrity, true self-love, we notice here that there's something here about maybe a contract, a decision, an obligation that you've had here that we're going to notice has recently been crumbling. You've been second guessing it a little bit, or perhaps you feel as though the divine is simply pushing you in a different direction. Your next spiritual progression is going to involve you being shown what you are supposed to do with this realization, what you are supposed to do with the pieces of the tower. I'm getting that this is something like building a statue. What is this called? If you are chiseling a statue, a marble structure, but then it is meant to be broken so that you can use those same pieces to create a different looking structure. Although they're the same pieces, and it might be the same shape, but it is a different vibration and a different aesthetic. And this is not something that is meant to bend and not break. This is something that is meant to be multifaceted. Think of it like you building a prism and a big beam of light shooting through it. And so when this beam of light gets fragmented into several different beams, we have this tower moment here. And it may look or feel a little bit like, oh my goodness, what is going on? There are all these different colors, all these different aspects of what's going on. I thought we were just working with this one beam of light. It seems to be broken and in pieces. This is actually the magic. This is you taking what is already here and actually spreading it apart really, really thin so that you can actually see like what's going on under a microscope. Not just in your life, but in your spirit and in your body. This will be something that you can easily pick up on through your body, and it will give you more mobility, not just in like your physical movement of your body, but also in your life. This will be something that creates more ease, more time, more space, more hours of sleep, more hours of rest, more hours of play, because the energy is more precise. It is highly focused. This precision does come with, again, a sensitization process, which is beautiful and will require a little bit of hermit time. But just as you will require a bit more hermit time, it will not feel like an obligation for you, like some of the things have in the past. It will rather feel like an opportunity for you to learn, to grow, to expand, and to tap in with your true self. And that is a blessing and a gift. And aligning these energies with your body, fixing any little kinks in your neck, any little spots in your mobility that need to get greased up, for lack of a better term. And it's also going to be one that does increase your mobility. I'm getting that you're not going to be rebuilding the wheel here, but you are going to be creating one. This will be something that it looks a little different than perhaps you first suspected it to, or than others perhaps suspected it to. But this will also be something that involves teamwork, that allows you to be celebrated and to celebrate yourself. This is showing up as spiritual progression because for you, Group 1, this mirrors your connection with your true self and your connection with the divine, which also honors your connection with your emotional body and your mental body and your physical body. And this also is aligning with your connection with others. This is a deepening of you knowing yourself. And so as this occurs, there will be a couple sore spots as you walk with a little straighter posture some days, but ultimately it will create more ease in your life. That knot in your SI joint will finally loosen up. That little kink in your neck or those vertebrae that were a little bit compressed, they finally start to open up. And the same will occur with your emotions. That one thing that just really gets you. The same thing will happen with your mind. That same thing that when you fixate on it, you hyperfixate on it because you have to analyze it and figure it out. We have creating space by honoring the fine details, by getting to know yourself, rather than fixating on the knot in your hip or the knot in your back. Instead, you're focusing on creating and keeping and maintaining that flow. And again, we do have some gifts coming online, and by online, we mean out to the forefront a little bit more. Because we have this energy of the internal and the external being one and the same, as we know that they are. And the veil is actually our difference in perception about what is going on there. What is different outside than what's going on inside? Well, the truth, if you really want the answer to that, it's nothing. But we love to give ourselves stories and illusions because it helps us to understand and unfold these things in order to be able to see this. And so here we have some energies, perhaps gifts, awarenesses, hopes, dreams, manifestations that are within, that will be found spiritually, will help you to progress, will help you to see more clearly, will take that crazy, blurred, trippy vision from that kaleidoscope and clear cut it. Like when you go to the eye doctor and they give you that one perfect flip of the switch and it really makes everything crispy and you see better than you thought that you could. And so we have this clear-cut energy and an allusion to a gift that you've had spiritually or energetically or even pertaining to your body that you feel called to bring to the forefront. And this may remind you of something of the past. It may be something you've tiptoed in the past. It may be something that could have been seen as a whole other obligation or just something else to do or something else to commit yourself to, something like this. But the more that you align with yourself, the more that it becomes authentic for you. And the more that you align yourself, the more that you feel that this is easier for you to do because you can focus on it more. And just like when you show up on your yoga mat, or you show up to Pilates, or you try to fix your posture, in the beginning, you are actually going to notice that you have some little knots in your shoulders that you didn't know about. And it's easy to say, oh, it was the Pilates, oh, it was the yoga. Actually, you were already holding these things. This drew awareness to it. And just as things have to come up so that they can come out, sometimes we'll feel this come up and come out and come through. But this is leading you towards further liberation, your truest self. And so your spiritual progression here is based primarily on the change that comes to your daily life when you focus on yourself. You look at the way that your internal and external worlds synchronize with each other and let them step in sync and flow and movement with one another. We have this mobility showing up in all areas of your life. I'm getting an emotional weight lifted off your chest as well. This is also alluding to ancestral karma. And we have an element of freedom and being free to perhaps travel different realms, different friend groups, different locations, different ideas very easily because you have an easier time coming back to center. It's kind of like when you get yourself into alignment for the first time, it does increase your mobility, but it increases your mobility with the aligned baseline. And this gives you an opportunity to build off of. And so once you have this, we see something that you already hold within coming to the forefront and being easier because it's easier to focus on it. So with this, you're being called to go with the flow, especially when it comes to your self-love, self-care routines. Give yourself the love that you would love to hold for others. Give yourself compassion and treat others with compassion as well. You already do, but start with yourself. And move from this straight spine. Move from this place of strength and mobility. Because flexibility without strength, it's gonna hurt. And strength without flexibility, it's also gonna hurt. No, they're both great, but they're meant to move in tandem with one another. And this is occurring spiritually and physically together as spiritual progression for you. Because you're learning how to read your body. Some of you might be noticing that you feel called to start something new, and that this will be something that is a long-term project for you. So, let yourself take the time that you need in order to put together a plan that honors you first. I'm getting that if you had started this in the past, or maybe some of you already tried, but if this would have been the case, it would have been a little bit more strict in a way that would have worked just fine, but would not have honored you. So, moving forward, bringing this into fruition, whether this be a spiritual gift, a project, an idea, a hobby, make sure that this is something that honors you. If it honors you to sign up for an Ashtanga class at 4:30 in the morning, then that is what you should do. But if it honors you to hit the gym from 2 to 3 p.m. because that's when you feel the best, maybe signing up at 4:30 in the morning isn't going to be conducive to you. You are individual, and you know yourself the best. And because of this, allow yourself to carry forward this energy in a way that honors your mobility, honors your flexibility and your strength, but above all, puts yourself first. This is important because there are versions of you, there are parts of you, there are beautiful, beautiful elements of you that are coming to the forefront. And as the light becomes shined onto these elements of you, you begin to see more clearly not only what you're meant to do, but who you are. And the more that you get to know yourself, the more you get to know your universe, and the more you get to know the universe. And the more deeply you can meet yourself, the more deeply you can meet others. And this is not about meeting others more deeply, this is about meeting yourself more deeply. And the more mobility that you have, the more compassion you're able to hold. The more compassion you're able to hold, the better you're able to build. The better you're able to build, the more stable that you feel. And the more stable that you feel, the more balanced that you are, the more flexibility you can play around with. And that works in your body, and it also works in alchemy energetically. So this is your next spiritual progression. I'm going to pull a couple oracle cards from my Follow Your Heart to close. Messages, please, from group number 1's spirit guides relating to their spiritual progression. I immediately heard breathe more deeply. I want to let you know you can read your Akashic records through your body, so some of you might have fun playing around with that. I want to let you know, first and foremost, that you are working too hard, whether this be at the gym, whether this be in life, whether this be emotionally, you're working too hard. And Sirius is all about the physical body as well. Some of you might enjoy tapping in with the water element while you're tapping in with your body, or simply staying a bit more hydrated as well. We also have an element of tapping in with the sacral chakra just a little bit more, which might be drawing that Ashtanga vinyasa into a flowy vinyasa. It might be drawing that flowy vinyasa into a rigorous weight process. But here we have, ultimately, getting to know yourself and honoring you first above all. There is one more thing that wants to come out here. It seems as though we have a decision going on, group number 1, or coming up in the near future. It might be that you are looking at very spiritual reasons and very grounded possibilities. Well, what gym do I go to then? Well, what is my foundation to start this business? How do I form a business plan? Or alternatively, how can I pull from my Akashic records to get a sneak peek of what this is supposed to look like so I can vibrate and attune to it? Okay, both of these energies, this is just coming to the forefront. Okay, this is creating that segue between flexibility and momentum, or flexibility and strength. This is creating that mobility between very, very rounded, very, very rational, and very, very spiritual, very, very ethereal. This is not Pisces. This is not Virgo. This is that perfect balanced point in between. So, with this being the case, trust that it might be a decision that you are meant to look at from a place of what is the most balanced approach that we can take here that honors you and you first, you and you alone. And this will take out the rigid, structured, I have to wake up at 4:30 a.m. version out of it if that's not your vibe. For others of you, it might be infusing that energy into it. Again, this is personalized, so personalize it for you. And it might also take out some of the very, very ungrounded kind of ethereal energies out of it too, because you can create and imagine and visualize all day, but just as you are the divine, you also have hands. But just as you have hands, you are also the divine. So it's finding that beautiful in-between energy and clarifying that. And this is mobility. This is movement. This is the manifestation of the self, of the being that is both divine and individual. So group number 1, this is your next spiritual progression. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. And I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful realm. Please like this video, comment. If you subscribe to my channel, it helps me out a lot. And it also helps others find the messages meant for them. So, with all that being said, feel free to check out another pile, and I'll see you next time. Namaste. Hi there, group number 2. Namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at your next spiritual progression, and you selected the second group with the Inner World card and the Tiger's Eye. The first message that is coming through is that the next spiritual progression that you are going through is one of protection, and I'm also hearing reverberation. You've been putting beautiful, beautiful things out into the world, and you are about to start receiving this level of beauty back as well. I'm also hearing the word restricted access. So this is going to be a progression for you in protecting your inner world, protecting your energy, not because things are out there trying to get you, but because simply it's not good spiritual hygiene to let anyone and everyone have access to you all of the time. It requires a lot of spiritual heavy lifting, a lot of cleansing, a lot of sealing, a lot of shielding. It's just a lot. And this is the energy of someone with a beautiful, beautiful heart. Someone tapped in with divine love. Someone tapped in with gratitude. And so group number 2, your spiritual progression, it is going to be one of almost pulling back a little bit so that you get propelled forward. This progression is the propelling forward part, but there is also this energy of noticing that perhaps some things might be coming back from the past. And this is not because you are meant to interact with them again because, oh my goodness, I thought I learned this. No, this is simply Remember who is allowed to have access to you. Don't forget who you are. You are special. Your inner world is revered. Your energy is sacred. It is precious. It is one of a kind, as is everyone else's. This is true. But you are being called at this point in time to use the discernment and the discretion that you have already used. You're going to be noticing at this point in time that you're going to be given an opportunity to grow and perhaps have some exciting things ahead for you. Group 2, your spiritual progression is going to be one where your inner world becomes so rich, so deep, so luscious, so beautiful that the moments when you blink when you're wide awake might have curiosity around you. Where do they go? How deep are they going when they just blink their eyes, let alone when you meditate? You might be the kind of person who shares your spiritual hygiene practice. You might be the kind of person who promotes wellness in one way or another. You may also be the kind of person who shares what you learn when you do deep dive and explore. And this next chapter of spiritual progression for you is a little bit less, this is where I'm at, and a little bit more, this is where I've been. And so this begs the question, if that's where you've already been, then where are you today? So group number 2, your spiritual progression is going to be very much you standing in your power, standing in your strength in ways that you've always felt internally. And maybe externally you needed to learn discretion. Maybe you had a couple of energies around you that saw something shiny, something sparkly. Everyone doesn't act through integrity all of the time. And we have free will. Free will is a blessing. But sometimes people choose not to act out of integrity, and other times people aren't even conscious enough to not act out of integrity. So there is this energy here where your spiritual progression is letting all of that go. You've pulled back, but now you are being propelled forward. And as you are flying past, you might notice some hands extended along the way. Keep looking forward. Get excited about where you're going to land. And I'm hearing, they're showing me a tool belt, like you're wearing a tool belt. Keep the things that you've learned in your tool belt right now. This doesn't have to be big, grandiose things like your lifestyle, although it can be. But I'm getting pertaining to, hey, this person's coming back around, and maybe they, maybe you've let them come back around 20 too many times, but they're coming back around the 21st time, hey, you never know. Group 2, So keep things like that in your belt, okay? That boss, they're really gonna be different this time. That person who always acts out of integrity. That person who can't take accountability. These energies, because this is not who you are. And you are not going to be imploded. You have expanded your inner world, and now you are receiving back everything that you have cultivated internally and everything that you are. You are beautiful. And for some of you, I'm hearing, and you finally believe it now, and you finally see it now. And so when someone is knocking at your door, and it kind of makes your heart flutter, not in an anxious way, not in a karmic way, but in a butterfly kind of way. Transformational butterfly. The good kind. And you know what that feels like because you've experienced it before. This is one of the tools in your tool belt. This spiritual progression for you is you saying yes to the things that you know are right for you unequivocally. And also saying absolutely not to all of those things that are not in alignment with you unequivocally. And this is, they're showing me, pressure and wounds and things like this. They make pearls. They make diamonds. They're beautiful. But also, when you have something beautiful and sweet and precious, just because it's been through rough and tough energies. Just because it can deal with rough and tough energies doesn't mean that it doesn't get to be treated gently. I'm being shown a pearl that has formed, yes, under pressure or from a scrape, a wound on the inside of the oyster. However, someone who treasures the pearl, someone who will use the pearl as the highlight of their event, of their piece they're creating, of their, I don't know, there's someone who holds the pearl with reverence and respect and sees its beauty and understands that they don't form overnight. This is an authentic pearl, right down to its core. And so because of this, you're going to be experiencing yourself being protected. You're going to be flying through new chapters of life with flying colors. And the pearl that is you, not just the pearl shell around a bead, but a pearl that is a true and rare pearl, all the way down to its core, is going to be protected, seen, appreciated, and revered. So let's get a little more into your spiritual progression. This is beautiful energy, but now I'm curious, group 2. So let's get into your tarot. Some of you, your clairvoyance is going to be coming online a lot stronger. I'm getting that there's something that you needed to experience or learn, or for some of you, even walk someone else through, teach someone else after you've learned this, before the visions, before the clairvoyancy of this energy was cracked open all the way. So this might be something where perhaps you are a channel, but maybe you're a clear and open channel. You may have been working with people who are not a clear and open channel, because you understanding this vibrationally is one thing. You feeling this out, experiencing this, knowing this is one thing, but you seeing what's going on, that's another thing. Now, I know I'm speaking to a lot of people who are remote viewers, remote experiencers, people who have spiritual and psychic abilities flying out of their ears, pouring out of their nose, just it's dripping off of you. And so, group number 2, your spiritual progression here, this is all about the inner world, that pearl at your very core, that inner world that exists, that, well, if you are just dripping with this energy, this beautiful, beautiful energy, then what is at that core? But there's only one way to find out, and it's to break that pearl, as far as I'm aware. But you're not going to be broken. And the one who knows where to find the rare pearls, the one who knows even that thing that I don't about pearls, they're going to know, and they'll recognize it, and they'll protect it, and they'll treat it as rare and sacred and precious and as a miracle, because it is. So, angels, spirits, guides, and ancestors of group number 2, please, let's get a look at their spiritual progression, please. What do we need to know? What do they need to know? What energies would you like to draw to awareness? Yep, the Chariot. Slingshot energies being propelled forward spiritually. A lot of you have been meditating more or more deeply. You've been praying more or more deeply. Some of you have been practicing something. I'm hearing practicing what you preach, okay? You've been removing the space between yourself. I'm hearing body awareness to spiritual awareness, okay? So your consciousness is not through your body awareness at this time. Your body awareness is actually one that has progressed beyond things that might confuse other people already. Your level of consciousness is very, very out there in a beautiful way. You're very, very evolved, very, very enlightened here. Your spiritual progression, it is going to be you drawing awareness to the way that your spiritual world is actually creating less of a gap between your physical reality and your spiritual world. Now, if you came here from group number 1, this is not at all the same, because we're seeing that you are being given opportunities that would, in body consciousness, drive you nuts. In a positive way, nonetheless, drive you nuts. And we see here that your spiritual awareness of these things allows you to simply fly right past all of those energies, all of those hands out, all of those faulty offers, all of those takers, all of those I've changed, I'm back, all of these energies that you would have needed to learn and unfold. We see that you stand in integrity. We see that you have no distortion in your throat chakra. We see that you are aligned with truth. And this is not your truth, my truth, their truth. Well, it's subjective. Truth is not subjective. There is truth. And it is the number 5. It is the color blue. It is called in Sanskrit Satya. And you can meditate on this to expand your awareness and your consciousness. This you most likely know, group number 2. But we're seeing here that in this truth, you're going to be given opportunities to connect with others in ways that are physically enjoyable to your experience in this 3D life because of the truth of your inner world. It's going to feel like lucid dreaming, but in your everyday life. It's going to feel like the bliss that comes from your meditation, tingling all throughout your body all of the time, even when you are going for a walk doing the dishes, because you have created a permanent state of this self-realized energy. Allowing yourself, when you get too wrapped up in a storyline or too confused by a particular thing in your life, to simply remember that you are lucid dreaming, even though you're awake, but this is also why we call it waking up. There are some things around you that you are noticing are fleeting energies, and it is your choice whether or not to enjoy them on the process, but there is no longer confusion about your message, the message. I'm getting that you have evolved a lot. You've done a ton of inner work on yourself, group number 2, and I want to validate that. You don't need external validation, but it's nice. I'm giving it to you. I see you. And with this energy, it seems that you know the level of consciousness that you wish to maneuver through, not just through your own life, but in the way that you interact with others, in the way that you listen to your senses, in the way that you build things, in the way that you play, even in the ways that you create. And we see that the spiritual progression of yours is one that continues to grow and grow and grow to a point where you might need to kind of stop and readjust and then keep going again, and then stop and readjust and then keep going again, because you keep expanding. And we see that you have this vibration that you are going to bring forth into your physical reality. And I'm getting that what you might feel coming, but are opening up into seeing, is that all of these beautiful energies that you feel internally, that you experience in your life, that you also feel called to bestow onto the earth, that you also feel called to become, you are going to be receiving examples of this as well. You're going to be gifted with examples of how you can do this by truth recognizing truth. I'm hearing something that I'm hearing real recognizes real, and real also recognizes fake, but it is fake that gets confused between the two. Integrity and truth are always able to identify integrity and truth, and therefore also lack thereof. So this pertaining to your spiritual progression, group 2, is going to be where you are, of course, it seems as though you are maybe someone's shoulder to cry on. You are perhaps waiting to be met with maybe a matched energy. I say that lightly, okay? In a level of consciousness that aligns with the truth, not a subjective version of distorted truth, being met with the same integrity, being met with something like this. And it's kind of the energy of, if they build it, they will come. Truth recognizes truth, so then you're out there speaking truth, and you're waiting for this to get almost not externally validated, but you're like, okay, so there is this message, there is this information, but there is this paradigm as well that you are being slingshot past. And when you land, you're going to be receiving energies that align with this truth, receiving energies that align with this new paradigm, receiving energies that align with your internal world without you. Of course, vibrationally, you're a match to this, but you are not the one creating this. You're not the one doing this. I'm getting that you will be, or you can be, but it is in a process of naturalization, a process of normalization of maybe the level of consciousness that you're at, the spiritual gifts and abilities that you have, perhaps the speed at which you grow and evolve, or perhaps some truth that you've had a difficult time expressing due to, I'm hearing just body awareness, consciousness, Knight of Wands in like a whimsical kind of irresponsible energy. Knight of Wands can be the one that is like it's like the fairy godmother or fairy godfather, I don't know, with a little magic wand and it goes, boop, here you go. But it can also be like a person out of their integrity. It can be someone who is kind of flaky. It can be someone who's a little bit like hot and cold as well. And so there's kind of this duality behind the meaning here. And so we see you being slingshot out of one reality and holding your consciousness anyway and acting through integrity nonetheless and moving into an energy where you are in this consciousness, everything that you've been doing. However, you're now in an environment, you're now around energies, you are now receiving energies that are normalizing and naturalizing this for you, that make you feel less alone. And this is going to help your spiritual progression by having physical support for this. For some of you, you've been wanting to maybe learn to go study something. This might be a healing modality. It might be a spiritual class or spiritual school, or it might just be to learn something that will help you become a better version of you, or learn how to do something, build something that will allow you to express this consciousness, these spiritual gifts in a different way. Because this can also be something like anything at all. It doesn't just have to be spiritual related, but it will be something that assists your spiritual growth or your personal development or health, well-being in general. And we see that you will be given external support here. We see perhaps you receiving a scholarship or something like this. We see perhaps you being given an offer that allows you to look back at how far you've come and realize that maybe you didn't get good grades in school, as an analogy for most of you. Maybe you didn't get good grades in school with the intention of getting a scholarship. Maybe you're just smart. However, you end up getting a scholarship, even though at the time you didn't even think you would go study something or study this at all. There are these things where you're going to look back and be glad that you invested in yourself in the ways that you did, partially knowingly and partially unknowingly about where you're going to end up. And this is kind of giving the energy of, Now, I'll share with you the visualization that Spirit's sharing with me. So they're showing me someone swimming, but they're swimming against the current. So it's a little bit harder, but you know that you're swimming in the right direction. Your intuition is telling you you're going in the right direction. Your higher self, the universe itself, everything is like you are swimming in integrity. Everyone's going the other way, but you know what to do. You know which way to go. You're swimming against the current. And so it requires more strength. It requires more trust. It's a little bit scarier. But there's a point where the current changes, and I don't know why or how, but the current changes and it propels you forward. And it actually pushes you, kind of like body surfing or boogie boarding or something. It actually pushes you to where you're going to go. You're now supported by the current. And so there's this energy of things flipping around like this. Your spiritual progression will be supported externally finally, and it will be assisted in a way that is surprising. Maybe you don't know how. It seems like divine intervention or something that you wouldn't pick up on with your physical senses, but you would pick up on it with your spiritual senses. But now, and the part of the ocean that you're at, the part of the river that you're now at, well, everyone knows that the current goes that way. Of course it would propel you here. It's normal. The current goes this direction. Everyone knows that's the direction that you swim. And the thing is that you had a journey to get there, where you had to swim against the current, where it was perhaps a contradictory reality around you that was showing you all of the things that you're not, showing you the direction not to go, showing you the things that you needed to build boundaries about, things like this. Your spiritual progression here is about you feeling protected and supported, not because you've got your evil eye bracelet on and you're drawing your little Hamzas, and not because you are cleansing your energy every time you talk to somebody else, and not because you are doing visualization and shielding and sealing and all of these things, which are beautiful and they help, of course. Continue keeping up your spiritual practices, but because now you're in environments that actually support and help them. It's kind of giving, when you're in a room with five, I'll just say 5 enlightened people, you will become the 6th. If you're in a room with 5 toxic people, you will become the 6th. And they're showing me a light being put in the dark. And so when you're in a room with 5 toxic people, the empath has a heck of a time and is just shining their light so hard, and they're just like a little firefly. Some people are trying to squash it, they're trying to catch it, they're trying to be like, oh look, it's so cute, haha, how adorable, it thinks it's whatever. And instead, the firefly finds its home, and it's surrounded by other fireflies. And they say, do you know that you can eat this kind of food? Did you know that you can grow to be this size? Did you know that your lights can burn even brighter? Did you know how magical we are? Do you know what we represent? And the firefly, knowing all along, it's kind of giving Ugly Duckling, that story, a little bit. Black sheep, cycle breaker, all of these paradigms, right? And this is a general reading, so fit it with you how it does. But your spiritual progression here, this is about your internal world being reflected to you by your external world. You being gifted all of the beauty that you have gifted others from healthy, beautiful, evolved resources that say, welcome home, this is normal, and actually opens their arms, open their doors for you so that you can continue to progress in the way that you have, not in spite of your surroundings, but supported by your surroundings. And it's giving a little bit of, again, the slingshot energy in your life, but also feeling like a big sigh of relief internally, or perhaps to your nervous system. I'm definitely getting a new beginning that's already tiptoed into your life, but this seems to be something where it's almost piggybacking off of something from your past in a way that in body consciousness would have been, oh my gosh, like so much totally fun, woohoo! But in spiritual consciousness, this is like your fairy godmother energy. This is bippity boppity boo. And so there's this 9 of Swords here, the confusion, the stress, the oh my gosh, how am I going to make it? I can't just expect something to magically occur for me, right? We are co-creators, and we deal with this, but in spite of your surroundings, really, because when you look around and you're the only light, and it's 2 a.m. and you need to sleep, but now it's dark, just whatever energy here. Now we have you propelling forward. We have this forward movement, this traveling, but the difference here, it's not the Chariot, which is strong, the Knight of Wands, which is higher than the 8 of Wands, energetically. It's not the Page of Pentacles, which is sturdy and grounded. It's actually 8 of Wands, which is like an energy of release compared to these. It's not intense, confusing, matter of fact. It's actually fun. And the only thing that changed, it's not the speed of your progression or the direction that you're going. It's the support of the current behind you. This is beautiful. It's like your spiritual progression that's upcoming for you. It's kind of like you catching a break, but also continuing to now get to study harder, but it's enjoyable, not a pain in the butt. Or you getting to do Reiki even more than you do, but now it's enjoyable and not something that you do because you have to get other people's energy off of you. It's something like this. It's you climbing out of a hole, but now you have that strength, so now you can run and go frolic through the flowers instead of having to climb out of a hole kind of vibe. So, messages from your angels, spirits, guides, and ancestors about your spiritual progression here. What would you like to share with them? This is my Follow Your Heart Oracle, Ascended Master. I see you. I know this energy when I see it. Group number 2, thank you for incarnating here on Earth. We welcome you. We're grateful for you. Okay. Befriend your ego. When's the last time you looked in the mirror and were like, I'm awesome, I'm gorgeous, I'm protected, I'm loved, I'm divine, hold space for yourself. I'm hearing this song, whatever, I'll just say it. It's called Sis, You're a Bad Bitch. It's like, even when you don't feel it, you're still the baddest. I mean that in a good way. Even when you don't feel it, you're the goodest. Anyway, Ascended Master and Lotus Feet. Your vibration is just twinkling. It is sparkling, and you're about to be in an environment where there are so many fireflies that you can't even tell that it's dark outside. As opposed to being the only firefly and everyone's like, come over here so I can read. And you're like, I'm a firefly. That's not realistic. And so your angel spirits, guides, and ancestors want you to remember who the heck you are, Group 2. And they want you to be proud of yourself. There's this energy here about letting yourself know that it's okay for you to be proud of yourself. You've come a really, really long way. And you've become who you are, I'm hearing, just despite the odds, and they're not really sharing too much else with me. So hold space for yourself to grow in confidence, and to grow in pleasure, and to grow in stability, and to grow in love for self. Because when there's showing me earlier in your reading where I wanted to give you external validation because it seemed like you don't need it, but you don't need it because you had to learn how to do that because you didn't get it. And so there's this energy of it's okay for you to receive a compliment. And I know that's very, like almost diminishing of this energy a little bit, because a lion doesn't need to be told that it's a lion. But the ugly duckling would have been maybe nice if it was told it was a swan. So allow yourself to hold space for your progression, and let it be a sigh of relief when let it be a luxury, let it be beautiful when you receive the things that you never got to experience before. Don't feel bad because you know what it's like not to have it. Don't feel like, haha, I am the best and I deserve this amongst all the other peasants. Like, no. But befriend your ego. Treat it gently. Treat it like your friend. Treat it like how a sweet firefly would approach you. Treat it with the gentle hands that you would allow a butterfly to land on you with. With the hands of the pearl expert who would hold oh so gently that rare pearl, knowing exactly what it was and how long it took for it to form. Hold space for yourself. There's something here about letting yourself grow old and staying young at the same time. Like, it's normal and natural and okay for yourself to look whatever age you look, be whatever age you are, and feel whatever age you feel. All of those things are natural and normal together. And let yourself continue to have fun. Let yourself go at the pace that's comfortable for you. And when you're supported by the current, it gives you more wiggle room, it gives you more space. And it seems that you are going to be doing like a unit review for something that's really easy, instead of something that's really hard and requires all your focus and attention. And it's like you get to bring a cheat sheet into the test with you as well, or your tool belt, or something like this. So let yourself appreciate the beauty and the rarity and the specialness that is you. That does not for a minute take away from where you've been, and it does not for a minute take away from anybody else, because everyone is special and beautiful and amazing, and they are perfectly imperfect and flawlessly flawed and just divine and amazing and gorgeous. But you, Group 2, as an individual, deserve to feel that to your beautiful, rare, pearl, authentic core. So, group number 2, this is your spiritual progression. I hope this helps shed love, light, and clarity for you along your journey. And if you'd like to like, comment, and subscribe, it would help me out a lot. It mean a lot to me. And I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful magical realm, you beautiful magical being. I'll see you next time, and namaste. Hi there, Group 3, namaste, and welcome to your reading. Today we're taking a look at your spiritual progression, and you selected the third group with the progression card and the green Aventurine. Connecting with this energy here, the first thing that I'm getting is that you are a professional at something. You are a pro. And this is going to lead you down very abundant paths. I'm getting that it may have in the past, but what is progressing for you in the future is extremely abundant and prosperous. Now, your spiritual progression has been slow and expansive. It is built gradually over time at a very consistent rate. This is something that you have put and dedicated a lot of time and energy into in order to see results. And of course, there's an energy here about your results not being the reason why you progress spiritually. So for some of you, you have let go of attachment to the outcome. And so the spiritual progression for you is about seeing those results. There's this energy of looking around, wondering, why is nobody else seeing this? And realizing that you have outgrown your environment in one way or another. You have outgrown perhaps your most recent belief system in one way or another. And this is natural along the spiritual journey. However, this spiritual progression for you seems as though you are getting ready to level up in a way that you have perhaps been repressed in the past. This is coming as a result of spiritual fortitude, not just consistency, not just hard work, not just belief or manifestation. This spiritual progression of yours, it's all about sanctity, it's all about sovereignty, it's all about you knowing that you have clarity, knowing that you've had clarity, and allowing yourself to move forward without needing to translate or dilute or dumb yourself down or make yourself small for those around you. This is giving the energy of someone who has a very, very, very high IQ, and so they consciously use 4 and 5 letter words because they're used to getting yelled at for using big words. This is the energy of someone who, in consciousness and spiritual growth, is so much far along in their journey. They're so much further along than their surroundings, than their community, that perhaps in order to even connect with these people, you have to unplug to your current grid and almost act as though you don't have the clarity that you do, knowing that you do, shrinking yourself into uncomfortable paradigms just so that others can feel validated because they know that you know the truth, because they know that you see the answer, because they know that if they can understand what you're saying, if you shrink yourself so that they can, then they have an accolade of being able to understand you, what you're saying, what you teach. The spiritual progression for you, group number 3, this is about prosperity, it's about abundance, and it's about having self-compassion. Almost putting that crown back on your head and realizing that it never left in the first place. There is a lot of energetic noise around you right now, group number 3. I'm not getting this, that this is that you put it there. I'm not getting that you're the kind of person who would freak out over hearing that either. It's just that it seems as though in this energy specifically, everyone wants a piece. Who can get there first? Who can anchor in the strongest? Who can use your name to get in the club? Spiritually, as an analogy, most likely. And so, right now, the spiritual progression for you might be about solemnity, might be about peace, might be about those moments that you get to have to yourself. People kick and scream over the hermit mode phase. This is the energy of someone who looks back and goes, I would never have chosen that any differently. Someone who understands and also has grown out of this for a while now. This is someone who has been actively doing their part, someone who puts themselves on the front lines. And the spiritual progression for you, it's about not just knowing that your inner world and your external world, they permeate into one another. They are one and the same. There is no difference. Therefore, time that you spend alone and the time that you spend in service, it doesn't matter, because while your soul is omnipresent with the divine, your body simply moves. And this is beautiful, and this is spiritual. With this progression for you, it is actually getting time to reel yourself back into little moments for just you. It is getting time to experience abundance and the ability to utilize that abundance and prosperity in ways that you seem fit as an individual. Group number 3, you are aware that there's been a lot of oppression and repression in the spiritual community for a long time. And you have been part of this energy wave that has been helping to break these paradigms, to shatter the illusions, and this puts you on the front lines in some way. And this is not about waking others up. This is about you following your soul, following the divine working through you. And when you are so solid in pure energy, when you're so solid in cosmic consciousness, when you're so solid in light, in your progression, then you are used to be a blessing for others. And this is not a problem, it's a gift. However, you might also notice that when you receive a gift, you then might give a part of it away. You receive prosperity, and there's someone who enters your life who could use it more. And your intuition has been helping you to learn between those who recognize a pattern and show up with their hands out, and those that are divinely brought to you so that you can give them a gift, so that you can help them out. It's similar to the energy of never regret the love that you gave to someone who couldn't reciprocate it or couldn't treat it properly because they needed the love then and you had it to give. Although this spiritual progression for you, it's not about self-sacrifice. This is about you moving into a whole new chapter, one that is prosperous. That word keeps coming out. The one that is prosperous for you, because your ability to be ahead of the curve, your ability to be a trendsetter or to see through the chaos, your ability to have clear vision, your ability to, anywhere you put an anchor, you seem to say, oh yes, I've been there. Oh yes, I can see that. Hey, there's even further than that, you know? And so there's this energy of, so how deep does it really go? I'm hearing How Deep Is Your Love by the Bee Gees. When this gets closer to your energy, there's a lot of energetic noise around you right now. There's a lot of curiosity. There's a lot of, so then how deep down the rabbit hole did they go? So then what do they know? So then if they're dumbing themselves down, then what is their true intellect? Things like this. And for some of you, there's this point of, I don't even care anymore, just leave me alone, with love. And for some of you, it's this being tired of diluting yourself and wanting to shine without it even being a big deal. Sure, you have a high IQ. Let's be around other people that do too, or people who don't point fingers at you for being smart. Things like this. And so we see this expansion for you. And in terms of spiritual progression, this is an opportunity for you to be a starburst, for you to explode all of the beautiful energies that are within you. And this is going to create a huge, I'm hearing the word catastrophic, and they're also showing me the sunglasses emoji, like a catastrophic ripple effect in your material realm, in the people around you. And this pressure, it's building up before it explodes. It's like if you have heat, the heat of fire, the heat of consciousness, and pressure, a closed container, you have to use words that they understand. You have to use a language they understand. You have to work within a paradigm that they understand so that you can break them out of it. This box, when you have a confined space and you add pressure and you add heat, it pops. And that is exactly what's happening now. Your spiritual progression is like your own personal Big Bang. It's like your own personal expression, explosion. And there's going to be something here about, I'm hearing the song Don't Stop Me Now by Queen. There's going to be something here about you knowing that you were in one chapter and now you're in another. And every phase was for your growth and progression. and to help as many as you can along the way as well, in a way that doesn't take away from you and honors and serves you. However, on the other side of this progression, there's going to be an energy of, man, I cannot believe that they kept themselves that small just for us. Well, I cannot believe that they were tiptoeing around that topic just so that we wouldn't attack them. Wow, I can't believe how kind they were, knowing now what they've been through, what they've been repressing, what they've been holding back. And so your spiritual progression, we're getting a lot of external energy here, which I would like to clear out here. They're drawing attention to the etheric template. So for some of you, do a little work on that if you feel called. But the spiritual progression for you is going to be primarily about you having the opportunity to really blossom and show everyone all your petals. The opportunity for you to really stretch your aura as far out as you want to without being like, oh, excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. Pardon me. This is you taking up space because you have this energy that is beautiful, that is highly conscious, and you've been putting it in this enclosed space out of divine purpose and out of humanitarianism as well. But now the self-serving energy here, this sunlight that is you, it is not the sun that goes door to door and knocks on every door and says, hello, you get an hour with the sun today, and you step in the room and then all the plants start to grow another inch and all the people's serotonin levels go up and it's all nice and dandy, and then you move on to the next house. This is the sun going, no, I am the center of the galaxy and expanding and exploding. And here we come back around to expansion, full expression, prosperity, and a little bit of maybe shyness, which might be the reason why you were in smaller settings. Spiritually for you, I would like to get more into this from the tarot. So let's take a look. Angel, spirits, guides, and ancestors of group number 3. Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. This is all about your commitment to the truth, your commitment to expressing the truth, and above all, your ability to shine regardless of the circumstance that you're put in. You are not a light of consciousness that the rain can put out. You are an eternal flame. You are not someone whose truth gets distorted because someone's story that helps them justify their energy is making you question your own truth. This is nothing like this. This progression for you is these situations being cut out of your life and you being committed to the way that you have committed yourself. Through this expansion, through this progression, this gets seen. And this is beautiful. We also have number 5, which is also the number that resonates with the etheric template. So we have that coming out twice. So if you feel drawn to that, it is actually the templated layer, the grid that is outside of your astral body in your energy field. So I would take a look at that if you feel called. So it's spiritual progression for group number 3. Tell me about group number 3 spiritual progression. This is going to be very, very fast progress. And it's going to be one where you're able to see in front of your face the progress that you're making. The Fool in reverse. I don't think I've even pulled that card in a million years. No. I want to tell you, I'm not exaggerating. The million years part, I was exaggerating, but the spirit was like, so tell them that you weren't exaggerating about this. You're going to see this right in front of your eyes. Maybe you have a gift or ability. It's kind of giving telekinesis a little bit. It's giving telepathy. It's giving astral projecting, becoming an apparition. It's giving adjusting an energy field, and then the material world is affected immediately. It's giving very, very strong spiritual abilities that you see in front of your eyes and you don't need to question. But because of the energetic noise that was around you, keeping them within for a little bit or waiting until you're outside of these surroundings, because you don't want to be a show pony. You don't want people to say, hey, prove it, or, well, this truth makes me comfortable, so why don't you change your truth? No, none of those things. The spiritual progression for you, it's going to be actually very, very grounded. And looking at these cards, it might feel a bit surprising, but it's this Fool in reverse really that's giving it away. This is going to be an opportunity for you to progress forward in a very permanent and also grounded way. Some of you might be joining something like a Shaolin temple. Some of you may be taking your yoga teacher training, but you might be going to Mysore or Rishikesh instead of just that local place around the block that you know doesn't understand the yogic science, the yogic philosophy, the yogic teachings. And we have this very grounded and very spiritual energy. Clear, open channel. What you have been, what you've always been. I'm getting 0 point. So a lot of you, you've been at 0 point for years. However, where does this go? Where do you put this in your life? You're at 0 point. That's great. You look around, you have to go grocery shopping. The people around you behave the same way that they did. Things like this. So what do you do with this energy? Well, you do your best. You help out the best that you can. You grow the most that you can. And you expand as much as you have space to. You clear out the template. You anchor into different grids. You do the grid work for your community. You help. You anchor higher vibrations into the ones that are around you. The spiritual progression for you is all about finding a home. It's all about you finding that, if you will, happy ending of yours that is grounded, that is tactical, that honors your template, it honors your 0 point, it honors your sovereignty. And we see here a removal of a situation, or like a quick entrance or exit of a particular energy, a quick shift here. Some of you had a dream recently that was meant to crack something open or give you a realization. This is the pro group, so I don't really feel called to tell you what your dreams mean because you're going to know. But we do have this energy here that's drawing really, really strongly, to the heart chakra and a little bit to the throat chakra, the astral body and the etheric template, the space in between the two, and the sovereignty of the astral body. Some of your energies here in the spiritual progression of yours, this is actually feeling more of a difference instead of less of a difference between your astral body and your physical plane, between your astral body and your etheric template. Some of you, you're hitting more defined notches because your 0 point is stronger, because your sovereignty is stronger, because your channel is open and clear. So rather than, like, they're showing me someone throwing out a fishing line and saying, I want to go to this place energetically, this dimension, this collective, this grid. Instead, it's kind of like a step and then another step and then another step, instead of just tossing out a line. And so because of this, the abilities become more defined. They become a more grounded part of your everyday life. Because of this, you notice that maybe some of you, this is the kind of energy I'm picking up here. When group 3 comes around, some spooky stuff starts happening. Not spooky in a bad way, not spooky in a dark energy kind of way, but a spooky in a why was their skin glowing like Edward in Twilight kind of way? Why did they say they were going to move that magnet with their mind and then the magnet moved when they said they were going to do that? Things like that. And so group number 3, the spiritual progression for you, it's about you feeling accepted, feeling comfortable, not because you're accepting yourself, not because you're in a place that requires that, but actually because you're in a place where the confinement is breaking. Some of you, only some of you, are extremely psychic and you've seen some stuff, you've been some places, you know some things, and 0 people in your life know about it. Or 1 person in your life knows about it. Or for most of you, a lot of people, like you're the tarot friend, you're the psychic friend, you're the spiritual friend, you're the Reiki friend, you're the yoga friend, whatever. But to what extent? They have no idea, because if they did, their brain would melt. And so when it comes to your spiritual progression here, this is kind of giving when the side character finds out the main character is like the superhero, when they find out they're Spider-Man, when they find out they're Superman or whatever. It's very much an energy of letting yourself be seen almost because you can't help it anymore, because there's this explosion due to the pressure and the heat of your consciousness. And for you, this is going to be more defined energetic actions for you, not out of sensitivity, but out of mere like stretching, out of mere, it's like a yawn of your energy. It's a big expansion, a big explosion. And this will put you into a chapter where it is known, it is accepted, and it is normal and natural that you are this firecracker, that you have this knowledge. I'm hearing Oracle of Delphi. So this is an oracle where everyone knew it was the oracle. Everyone went to that oracle. No oracle in town, whatever. Like, that's the oracle that the other oracles go to, because they either learned from that oracle or they were trying to copy them. Lots of frauds, lots of phonies, lots of what ifs, lots of maybes, lots of speculation. But at the end of the day, if you want to make sure you get the real deal, you know where to find it. It's group 3. So we have this progression for you here. And this has a lot to do with the way that you're perceived by others, the way that you're accepted by others. And so flipping the script a little bit, this has to do with the way that you accept yourself. Walking around in the world being different and that being okay. Knowing that you're different, but not acting like a super secret spy character of a movie. Acting like you are normal, and just as normal as it is for you to be the person, the soul, the energy that you are. It's just as normal that you have 2 hands, 2 feet, give or take a couple, and you're just walking around life. It's normal. The fact that you are incarnated here on Earth, the fact that you are in a body, the fact that you do have a body, you are in body consciousness, you are a human right now, here and now, period. You cannot argue that at all. And you are also your soul, you are also your astral body, you are also your etheric template, you are also your divine body, you're also your causal body. Your Akashic records are held within your astral body, by the way. And so we did have this cleansing of the astral body. So yes, this taps in with your heart. Yes, you see this from your pineal gland off the front of your forehead, but intuition comes from the back of your spine. It comes from C7. So we are able to visualize all of these energies. You are now becoming what all of these energies were meant to make you into. For some of you, this is pulling together soul fragments. For others of you, this is finishing your parallel life journey. For others of you, it's finishing the twin flame journey. For some of you, this is finishing a spiritual journey that you didn't know there was an end to. For some of you, it's closing out your healing journey. Healing's not linear. If it has a beginning and it has an end, if it exists at all, it's within the infinite, and energy is not infinitely unhealed. That is a fact. So, group number 3, you are coming to a close of a chapter of life that you didn't know necessarily if it had a close. Because there's going to be this explosion, this expansion of who you are. And this is because you accept yourself deeply. Not in a way where you feel that you accept yourself deeply and you have to play a part. This is cracking open another layer of you. Not where you need to keep up with someone else around you, or you need to slow down to be around someone else around you. Rather, you are content with where you are. And you're able to, I'm hearing, play and frolic in your template again, instead of being wrapped up in astral lands which go on forever. It's beautiful and amazing to travel, but anywhere you go, there you are. And I'm not knocking that stuff either. You check out my YouTube channel, you will see I am there all day, right? I love that stuff, but we go in it and we come out of it, just like anything else. Group number 3, the spiritual progression for you is all about you coming home to yourself. It's all about you grounding the beautiful being that you are and always have been. This is you either finding your 0 point, finding your clear open channel, or you expressing your 0 point, expressing this big open channel. For some of you, you are grounding this energy, you're finally hitting that mark. Clear channel, 0 point. Others of you, you've been holding this in for so long, you've been experiencing it for so long, that it's about to create an explosion that creates a crazy ripple effect on the world around you. And you're just gonna have to watch while all signs point back to you. And you are there, like, basically caught red-handed, but with love and light, spiritually. Now, let's get into the oracle. This is my Follow Your Heart oracle, this is my graphic tarot, and this is my mini oracle. We're going to see what your angel spirits, guides, and ancestors have to say about the spiritual progression for you. They just keep showing me etheric template, a big yawn, a big stretch. Okay, don't be afraid to take up space. Don't be afraid to get in there. And this is really, really grounding, like that channel, grounding that 0 point, grounding that solidification that you are you and no one else is you. Right? A million people on this planet are clairvoyant. A million people on this planet have prophetic dreams. A million people on this planet are Reiki practitioners. There's only one you. There's only one Oracle of Delphi. Whoop! Okay. Holding space. Learning to breathe and hold the space. Oh, look at that. Okay. With crystal healing, listen to your higher self. Lotus feet, blessing magnet. Someone's not watching the card. I got holding space and intellectual air. And I heard this song in my head. It's like, I'm learning to breathe and hold the space. And so I laughed because it was synchronistic. We have crystal healing. Crystalline body, crystalline blueprint. Okay, the crystal realm. For some of you, tapping in with your diamond energy, your rainbow aura, energies like this, refracting that light. Okay, this expansion. You have your 0 point, you have your light, you have your clear open channel, you have your light bubble, your energy's purified, your kundalini's awakened. Okay, bang, beautiful. Now what do? Do you expand that light? Or do you refract it through your diamond body through a prism? What is the journey that you're wishing to take? What is the journey you have been taking? Explore the other one. Okay, not because you're saying goodbye to one, but because you can explore other things that are not just in the astral plane. You can explore bits of your consciousness, the layers of your consciousness. You can explore the layers of your energetic body. You can explore the layers of a grid. We hear so many things that are the tip of the iceberg, and you know how to explore them. Listen to your higher self, and let yourself decide what your higher self means to you as well, because that is a term that, if you think about it energetically, can mean anything. It is a version of you that is higher vibrational than the one that you are in today. Higher vibration is fourth dimension and lower because in order for there to be wavelengths that utilize time and space, that's fourth dimension and lower. So when you talk about your higher self, it's a great way for us to fathom what's going on, but decide which energy your higher self is coming from. Decide which you're pulling that advice from, because your highest self is going to be like source. It's going to be cosmic consciousness. Your higher self, you can choose an anchor there. Okay, so maybe play with the etheric template. Play with your rainbow aura. Play with your diamond body. Play with your astral body. Things like this. These are all your higher selves. Just, food for thought. Anyway, we have lotus feet and blessing magnet. Your spirit guides want you to know that you do have big blessings coming along the way. They're like, don't forget the very beginning of this reading, prosperity. The first thing they wanted to let you know is that you are reaching a prosperous time. They're showing me the movie Hercules, specifically like the Disney one. So this can be significant for some of you. Experiencing being a fish out of water, experiencing being out in the cold, needing to just use your gifts and abilities and the way that others see fit that makes them comfortable because they're uncomfortable with you. And then, when you reach this explosion, when you reach this grounding point, which is the progression that you're experiencing now, prosperity comes in, blessings come in, beautiful energies come in, adoration comes in. And so, at this time, you are a blessing magnet. Do continue to shield your energy, cleanse, seal, shield, all of these things. I'm not really getting that there's anything to cleanse that's left for you, group number 3, at all. But do make sure that you are shielding, because at this time there's a lot of noise around your energy, not in your energy, but when you are clean and clear and you have that energetic shield up and you have things that are coming in, people are going to want to try to touch it because it's shiny, because it says don't push the red button. So what do they want to do? They want to push the red button, right? So it's kind of like this, and that's okay. Trust that your feet are as on the ground as they're meant to be. Trust that a lot of things are grounding for you right now. So if you see some random positive events happen in your physical reality that align with your spiritual journey specifically, then it's not an accident, it's not a mistake, it's not a lesson, it's a blessing. The reason that a lot of this didn't get overly specific is because you know exactly where you're at spiritually. You know yourself very, very well. I'm getting that the biggest thing here for you is trusting that this expansion of yours, it's going to be prosperous, because you might be used to feeling embarrassed or put out or looked at weird or needing to shrink yourself, things like this. So trust that this expansion will be prosperous, you will be celebrated, it will be positive. And again, this does, just a gentle reminder, reflect in your internal, not just your internal narrative, what you're telling yourself, but the way that you feel about yourself. And this is where we dive into inner child healing, we dive into past, present, future, parallel lives, we dive into the astral and Akashic realms. But there's an end to that as well. There's larger than that as well. And so this progression for you, it is you having more defined energies to tap in with, not just infinite planets and infinite experiences and infinite lives that are within all the Akashic realm, which is in the astral, but actually outside of this, which takes huge progression. It happens very rarely. And you're going to be noticing the difference here between what happens when you are pulling energies towards you because you're a vortex, versus when you are thinking really, really hard and trying to project something with your third eye, and then you wait for the magic to happen. You're doing it the easy way now, but that's because the easy way takes a level of consciousness. Okay, group number 3. How fun. This was your reading on spiritual progression. I hope this helped shed love, light, and clarity for you. And as always, I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, week, month, year, and incarnation in this beautiful, magical realm. I hope to see you next time, and I'm sending you all my love, light, and gratitude. If you want to like, comment, and subscribe, it would help me out a lot. And if you're interested in any of these decks that I have, you can find them on my Etsy shop below, along with personal readings, Reiki sessions, my books, journals, crystals, fun stuff. Anyway, thanks for being here, and I hope to see you next time. Namaste.